Good morning everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Welcome to the channel. If you're not a member of the channel, just please hit that subscribe button right now and like the video and join our Telegram group there. The link's in the description below. Head over to the Telegram group there where there's lots and lots of trades, not just the videos that I cover, but there's so many great detailed information, technical analysis in there, and you know, it's all good guys. So just diving into the Bitcoin chart then. So as you can see, Bitcoin looks to be breaking down again. Okay, we sort of had this little bounce yesterday, or almost off his support line, this diamond support line, guys, on the 4-hourly time frame here. So we almost had this bounce down here, but you can see we didn't quite get there. Okay, so we had the bounce pretty before that line, which is good, it's positive. But as you can see, we come back up and we're a bit ahead on the 20 EMA, all right? So we are caught in a bit of a downtrend, so to speak, but we're still not completely bearish at the moment on the EMAs, because you can see down there we formed this bullish cross, okay, after this correction, and we are still in an uptrend on the EMAs, okay? So what you potentially could be looking at here for Bitcoin, okay, is just a little bit of a cool off, a refuel of those rocket ships before it does move up again. The fact that we've not broke down to this support line is quite positive, okay? So we've not actually gone that far. And you can see what I always tell my subscribers. See, I'll always tell my subscribers that even if you can be hitting your head on the 50, 55 here and the 20, you know, and coming up and not getting above and staying above, you could still be quite bullish, okay? Because these EMAs are really important. And once they form bullish crosses, you're in an uptrend, okay? That's a bullish cross. We're in an uptrend. We're back testing support, okay? We are struggling to get through it, so we do need to take note of that, because as you can see there, it started to curl. And now we've got rejected there. As you can see, we didn't quite make that other high there. So, and that sort of push you down a bit. What you need to be aware of is the bearish crosses. Once you see this bearish cross, okay, in an EMA, it really does give a lot of momentum to the downside. As you can see here, you got the bearish cross there. It gave a real big push down, okay? So you do see a larger correction once that bearish cross starts to form. Sometimes, you know, like here, you can see that we form that bullish cross, which would say, okay, right, we're going to get lots of power. But obviously, as Bitcoin got up there, it got rejected at that previous high there and got pushed down again. There was a bit of a cascade of selling off. We got the bearish cross, and we look like we're going to go down again, but then we got brought back up. So it's not predetermined that as soon as that bearish cross is hit, we go to oblivion, or as soon as the bullish cross hits, we pump up, okay? So this is a level of consolidation. What you do need to keep an eye on, though, is the trend, okay? And you can see this is a very, very long bullish cross that we've been in the EMAs now, okay? So potentially what you look at when you get your bullish cross and it goes up and up and up and up and up and it's not touching for a long time, the EMAs especially, as you see, they've not touched it, you do expect some kind of EMA retest, guys. So that potentially is still not off the cards for Bitcoin, and I would necessarily look at that. And what you can do is see that the EMAs here, the 20 and the 55, are slowly coming together. So this is called an EMA retest. You can see we got the EMA retest here where it was coming down and it literally bounced off each other, repelled one another, pushes up again. You can see that it's run out of steam trying to make that previous high. So basically that invalidated this move. This move here is lower highs, okay, which is actually quite bearish because it means you ran out of steam. So you're going up, making a high, come back down, reconsolidate and having another go, run out of steam, come back down, having another go, run out of steam. So you are caught in a downtrend on the price action, but you're still in an uptrend on the EMAs. But what you've got to keep an eye on, guys, with the EMAs is this coming together, because this is what gives it fuel, okay? These EMAs creep together, and just like down here, these EMAs creep together, and just like down here, okay, they're coming together and they should theoretically get a nice bounce and repel each other, and you can see that the coming together is higher than this one, okay? So theoretically it's not dipped as much, okay? So once they come together, you may see this bouncing Bitcoin here pushing us up further, because I know in all that looks quite bearish, but actually it's not, okay? It's just a refueling, a reconsolidation, sort of catching itself up, letting it breathe, okay, letting Bitcoin breathe and take a breather and cool down a little bit, because you can see here, as we said in the channel, you know, we are really overextended from the EMAs, especially the 4-hour 20, okay? The 4-hour 20, you'll always see that pullback, okay? Sometimes you'll see the pullback and get the bounce and push on like we did here. We've got that nice pullback, re-energize them boosters, pushed on again and give us that massive impulsive wave up there, made the high, the all-time high, but obviously at that point we were really far away from these EMAs, and we was looking at a back test. We've come back, got the back test, you've seen the little bounce just there, guys, okay? So it's like, oh yeah, we got it, but then obviously we got rejected and we fell through and we were falling even more, but then we got supported and we're coming back up. So what this is doing now, you can see it's coming down less and less and less. So we're potentially looking at something like this, okay? Not financial advice, but you can see this coiling up of Bitcoin. It's almost like it's coiling up like a spring, ready for a pop to the upside, okay? Theoretically, that's what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at a potential big pump for Bitcoin. A coiling up here, you can see this. It's making higher lows on this time frame here. Okay, they're high lows, low, high low, high low, potentially another higher low there, which again is bullish because it's given upwards momentum. It's bouncing off this level of support now. We've not broke down to this support line, so theoretically Bitcoin, you can see it's almost like a spring. Okay, so you're caught in this sort of symmetrical triangle type pattern right now for Bitcoin, where we are coiling up inside this. We're getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and as we get closer to the apex, guys, you may see us pop out, okay, take out that high there and push on to those targets that we've been targeting in the channel there for Bitcoin. And you can see that whilst all this has been doing this, the RSI is reset. It's sort of sat in the middle now, ready to go. The MACD is turning, well, I know it's bearish there, but you can see it's almost turning bullish. And you can see, if we zoom in, guys, you can see that the blue line there is almost crossing the orange line. Okay, so it's going down for a cool down, and you can almost see it's going to come like this, okay, like this little impulsive move there where the blue line crossed the orange line. It went down, had a reset, and then picked up, pushed on, and we got that big pump just there. So theoretically, yeah, we do look like we're coiling up for a pop to the upside, but not financial advice. Okay, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just saying what I see. We look like we're coiling up. So you can basically see in the previous correction here where Bitcoin is sort of coiling up a little bit in this sort of triangle type pattern, guys, which we are experiencing now. You know, something like that where we're making these higher lows. You see that? Okay, and these lower highs, and you're sort of coiling up inside this symmetrical triangle type pattern before it gets to the apex and decides to pop up. You know, it could equally have popped down, but there's a really strong momentum with Bitcoin, guys. There is a really, really strong momentum with Bitcoin. It is carrying the market. Okay, so that's just Bitcoin. It's just something to keep an eye on. Okay, for Bitcoin, we may potentially see that coiling up here in this symmetrical triangle type pattern because we've not come down to this support line, this diamond support line here. You know, I reckon if we switch on the daily, we have had I've not looked at the daily yet, but I reckon if we look at the daily, we've had a 20 EMA retest. We would have had a 20 EMA retest yesterday. So what I'll do, I'll zoom in here for you guys. So looking at the 20 then, you can see that, yeah, I'm right. We almost wicked down at that 20 EMA retest. This particular pattern here, guys, this is playing out to a T to the video that I made last week in the channel, how Bitcoin is following an exact pattern from the previous bull cycle in 2017, October time, as brought to my attention by Mariah Monetize. You need to check that video out because this is playing out, because we made the high, okay, here, went down, got the EMA bounce, come back up, made the all-time high, come back down, bounced off the 20 EMA, okay, come back up and got rejected at a previous high. You can see just there we got rejected at that high, come back down, refueling of the 20 EMA for a couple of days, consolidation, before getting that energy to move back up and take out this high and make the new all-time high at $7,900 it was. So it's potentially add a zero to the previous cycle, and that gives you this cycle here, which will take us up to that 79k, guys, that we're targeting in the channel. So Bitcoin does look like it's coiling up for that move. Failing that, you know, if it was to break out this symmetrical triangle, then look at the retest of this 20 EMA again, and then potentially falling down to tested 55 EMA, guys. So that's Bitcoin. I'm just going to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, okay? So you can see with the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, we are hugging the bottom of this symmetrical triangle that we've caught ourselves in. It is a bearish continuation pattern, guys, by the way. You know, it is a continuation pattern. You can see we fell into it, consolidating inside and getting rejected on these EMAs. You know, it is in a downtrend on the Bitcoin dominance. So what we could potentially see right now, guys, is, you know, we do look bearish on the Bitcoin dominance, but what you may see, and I want you to be aware of this, is that coiling up of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin coiling up, breaking out of this symmetrical, because it looks really bearish at the moment. It looks like we're about to pop down and go to oblivion and have a mini alt season. But what you've got to look at, in the alts, we have kind of had a mini alt season, because you've got things that have gone up 100%, 200%. You've got like Chili's token that's gone up almost 40x or something, you know. So that is an indication of a cycle top, in my opinion, that we may have looked at Bitcoin going up to its breaking its all-time high. Okay, then you had the blue chips that moved a bit, not a great deal. Okay, your mid caps, then all the low caps have pumped. Right now there's going to be a cooling off, I think, possibly, and then like we're moving on to the next cycle now, and that cycle could be that Bitcoin does pop up to that 79k. It's coiling up. Okay, Bitcoin's coiling up for that move, so potentially everyone's eyeballing this breakdown, but we could potentially just see Bitcoin go the other way here and pop up and get some dominance back. Okay, and then actually make that 79k, surprise everybody, make that 79k, where it break out of this symmetrical triangle and then start to break down again and lead into another alt season. It's just a cycle, guys, that we monitor. So that's Bitcoin dominance. Keep an eye on this chart. It's very important. We could equally break down, but we could obviously break up, but you have to look at the other scenarios that are potentially in play, guys. So I'm going to jump onto Ethereum right now. Yeah, Ethereum is showing a really strong level of support on this support line. We are bouncing off it, but unfortunately we are caught in the EMAs at the moment. But you can see, like I said to you, you are bullish until you get that bearish cross. Okay, so in the EMAs we are still relatively bullish on the 4-hourly time frame, because we've gone up so much, got extended like we did in Bitcoin, and now we're consolidating in this range. Bit flat, bit boring, but you may potentially looking at a retest of support again down here, and then a bounce, and just get caught between these EMAs. You can see right now we're on the verge of forming a bearish cross here for Ethereum, so that potentially is bearish. If that was to form, guys, I would potentially see us break down, lose this neckline. Okay, only look back test it, but then we will break down to that head and shoulders down there for Ethereum, which would be really bearish. Basically be a bit of a reset, to be fair. So what you may see here as well, alternatively, is this coming together, this retest of the EMAs, where we get the bounce here. Okay, we get that bounce on the EMAs like that, and it carries the price action with it. Ethereum pumps and continues upwards and breaks that high there. But at the moment, used to look at this chart from a technical analysis point of view, it does look quite bearish. It looks like we're about to form this bearish cross. We are being pushed down. We are being rejected by the EMAs on the 4-hourly time frame here. You can see that we're constantly coming up, trying to get above these EMAs, and we're hitting our head. So we're sort of being squeezed at the moment between this neckline and these EMAs. Once that bearish cross forms, that potentially would give us the power to push through, and unfortunately push down for Ethereum. Okay, so that's a potential play for Ethereum. Just something to keep an eye on, guys. It does look quite imminent, to be fair. You may see that today. One positive thing though, you can look at the RSI and say we're quite low. Okay, so that's looking good for a curl there and a reset, gives it more fuel. And believe it or not, that MACD is actually on the verge of turning quite bullish, because you can see the histogram is sort of running out of fuel a little bit there. So it's like a little bit pick up today on the bearish bias, but you can see that it potentially could start to lose. Okay, and then go a little bit more bullish, and then we may get that curl in the MACD there, which would see us bounce and push through this EMAs, rejecting the bearish cross on the EMAs, getting that little retest that we talk about so much in the channel. Okay, because you do want to see, you want to see this price action, okay, testing the EMAs, but you also have the EMAs bounce off each other. Okay, and you will see that coming together of the EMAs bouncing off each other. If this EMA here comes down and bounces off each other, repels one another, rejects the bearish cross, that is extremely bullish, and you will see a lot of power given to Ethereum to push on through now and get through those EMAs, back test potentially, move on and break that all-time high, that local high for Ethereum, and move on and march on towards that all-time high. So really, really crucial times. You're talking the next couple of days, we should have a decision what's going on here, guys. So what I'm going to do is look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, I know it looks like we are in a downtrend, and yes, we are in a downtrend, but what's positive, we broke out of this falling wedge. Okay, we broke out of this falling wedge type pattern, this pattern here, and that in itself is quite positive. And what you can see now is we are actually coming back and back testing it as support. So again, that's positive in itself. It does look bearish, guys. Okay, what we don't want to see is a breakdown where we fall back into this sort of falling wedge, because then you will be looking at a high level of resistance again, pushing us down and down and down. But what is positive is we did break out of this resistance. Okay, so what we did, we broke out of the resistance. We looked to be off to the races, but then obviously Bitcoin bounced off that dominance line and clawed some dominance back. Okay, and then you've seen Ethereum get rejected, but it has fell through the EMAs, which is negative. But okay, what we need to keep an eye on is that in the Ethereum chart there, that bullish cross on the 4 hourly, that repel, okay, of the EMAs on the 4 hourly time frame there, could potentially see us push up now and give us some velocity to push through these EMAs, okay, against Bitcoin. Push through these EMAs, back test the support and move on again. Failing that, you could just see us keep pushing down and pushing down in these EMAs even more, guys. Okay, so critical times, you know, I do expect in the next few days we will see some kind of reaction for Ethereum, you know, or Bitcoin. One has to make the mind up which way it's going to go, and it will carry the market. Okay, so whatever happens, and we just got to accept it. But in the meantime, sit pretty and let's pray for an Ethereum breakout, because if Ethereum was to break out against Bitcoin, it would lead to a mini alt season, guys. We wouldn't see Bitcoin necessarily get to that 79k immediately either, and the coiling up for Bitcoin would actually be quite a negative reaction, pushing us down. So again, you know, hopefully we get what we want out of this market, guys. So that's just an update for Bitcoin and Ethereum today. I should do the other updates in alternative videos, guys. Keep an eye out for those. Once again, thank you for all your nice comments and your likes and your sharing, and the you know, everything you contribute to the community there in the Telegram group. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.